Today's topic is cell differentiation. Don't get too confused when you hear the word differentiation, please. If you look at it, it's right here, different. It's just talking about how cells are made different for each other and how they can do different functions in your body. Like you have muscle cells and you have nervous cells and you have blood cells. They all do different jobs. Okay, if you look on your notes, humans begin as a single fertilized zygote, and that is what we talked about last class. Remember, that's our one little weird word called a zygote. It's the first single fertilized cell, and that's number 1 on your notes. The process that allows you to grow is mitosis, down here at the bottom. It's how you grow, it's how you divide. So it's also how you repair yourself. If you get cut, don't forget that. If you cut yourself, you don't just stay open and bleeding forever. You have the cells will come and join and create and grow more cells so that you can repair yourself. Mitosis is really important because it makes every cell in your body genetically identical, which means it has the same genes. So, what is the same about all your cells for number 3? They are all genetically identical. It means they have the same genes. You can think about that kind of like if somebody were to get in trouble for a crime scene, okay? They left their blood at the scene, okay? Their blood's going to have the same DNA as like maybe a skin cell. So they can trace back the same DNA to that same person. So all your cells in your body have the same DNA. So for number 4, what does that mean about every cell in your body? It means it has the exact same DNA. Exact same DNA. That should all be review, but here's where our new stuff starts. In the very, very beginning, when you are just a fertilized egg, a zygote, your cells are not specialized. They're called stem cells because they're unspecialized cells. So what I want you to write down is, on your line for number 5, is unspecialized cells, and then I also want you to tell me that they do not have a job, okay? That's what that means. They don't have a job yet. They're still kind of floating around. They're doing their own little thing, but they do not have a job yet. After you grow up a little bit in your mom's uterus, you go through all these stages that are listed in this picture, and eventually your cells start to become specialized, which means that they start to have jobs. Okay, this screen right here says that as the embryo grows or as the baby grows, cells begin to specialize so they can perform different functions. So your question says, what is unique about cells after they are specialized? Is they can perform different functions, okay, or different jobs. They can perform different functions or different jobs. That is for number 6. For number 7, it says to define cell differentiation. I want you to say the process of stem cells becoming different types of cells. Right there, underlined in red, for number 7. Also, look back up here at the top. You're looking at this. If you have your zygote, which is your first little cell by itself, which is right here, you're eventually going to go through a process where your stem cells or your beginning cells will turn into maybe heart cells or maybe brain cells. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, is how you can go from one cell to all these million different types of cells. Okay. If every cell in an organism has the same DNA, how can they act so differently? All the cells have the same DNA, okay? But you need to remember that we talked about expression, okay? This is what I want you to write down. I'm going to circle it in blue. They are not expressing the same genes, okay? So they do not have the same genes turned on or that are active. If every cell has the same DNA, they act differently because they're not expressing the same genes. Okay, now if you remember, gene expression means that some cells can turn on genes and some genes are turned off. Okay, just like what I do with the light switch. So, only certain genes in the cell are expressed for a certain type of cell. So, your next question says, what does it mean if we say a gene is expressed? It means that the gene is on. Okay? It means that the gene is on. If the gene is unexpressed, the gene is off. Okay, that's just a review. Now, going on to the next slide. Eukaryotic cells can also control gene expression by altering the mRNA before the protein is made. Okay, lots of words right there. Okay, eukaryotic cells, we know what that is. That's us. Okay, they have a nucleus. They control gene expression. Okay, by altering or changing. Here, say changing. Changing the mRNA before a protein is made. Okay. So, your question says, what can eukaryotic cells do to their mRNA to produce different proteins? I want you to put change it. Change the mRNA. On the same line, I want you to put by splicing. Remember that word? By splicing into different combinations to make different proteins. I know it's a lot to write. Okay, eukaryotic cells will change the RNA by splicing into different combinations to make different proteins. Okay, we should be at the gray box that says, what does controlling the expression of genes allow cells to possess? Okay, by controlling the genes allows the cells to possess different cells with unique structures and functions. Different cells with unique structures and functions. We control gene expression, or what's turned on, what's turned off, by making different cells with different structures and different jobs. Cells are also affected by their environment. That's your next question. It says, what can also affect the differentiation of cells is their environment. Okay. What allows cells to communicate? Different signals that the cells will send to each other. Okay, go back. Is through receptor proteins in the membranes. Okay, that is for the one that says what allows cells to communicate. is receptor proteins. Your next question asks you, where are they located? It's in the cell membranes. We've talked about these little guys before. Okay. The whole point of this is for those unspecialized cells, okay, without jobs, they're unemployed, okay. Their unemployed cells communicate with each other through receptor proteins in the cell membrane. This allows cells to interact with each other and become a specific type of cell that is needed. So if you cut yourself, okay, your arm's open and bleeding, you need extra blood cells, okay. You're going to need extra skin cells to cover up your cut. You're going to need a couple extra maybe immune cells to fight off any bacteria that could come in your body. So you're going to have different communications for your body to make extra of those cells at that location through chemical signals. And it's called, okay, groups of specialized cells with the same function are known as tissues. So your last gray box in the front says define tissue. It is groups of specialized cells with the same function. Groups of specialized cells with the same function. Okay, so it might be blood cells all combined makes your blood, or muscle cells all combined makes your muscle tissue, or nerve cells make your brain tissue. Okay, so it's talking about groups of specialized cells that have jobs, that have the same job, are known as tissues. Alright, what I want you to do now, we're not going to be able to get to this, but if you go home, I will put the link onto Edmodo, and you can access this on Edmodo at home. Please, guys, when I'm gone, I need you to go ahead and keep up with the Edmodo site, because that's where I'm going to put all these notes, just in case you didn't get them. I'm going to put a little bit of a kind of tips and advice on there. It's how to ask me questions if you don't know my email. But since I'm going to be, I want you to go ahead and, since I'm going to be gone, I want you to go ahead and tell me or email me if you need me to. If you need to, this is my email. And then you can also go to edmodo.com and log in with what you had before, if you remember what you had. Okay, since I'm not going to be here, if you want to, you can see Miss Key. She is in, Mrs. Key is in room D207, okay? She's been teaching here for longer than I have, and she also teaches biology. So she knows exactly what I'm doing, exactly what I'm saying. So your job right now is to get out a pen or a marker to take your checkpoint, okay? This is a longer checkpoint. You're going to have 40 minutes or more to do the checkpoint, and you're going to turn the Scantrons back into the substitute. Okay? Good luck, guys. Study over your notes for a little bit while you're getting out all your supplies, and get ready for your checkpoint. See y'all later. Bye.